Now, in Ward 5, in Vanderbilt Park, Emfuleni, we're with Councillor Maureen. She is the ward councillor responsible for Ward 5. And we are right here at SW5. We are to engage with her and find out, for the past 4 years, how has her work been? And will she be contesting in the next coming elections? And if so, why should the residents of Ward 5 vote for her? Councillor, thank you so much for your time. 4 years later, almost 5 years now into office as the ward councillor, just take us through your work as ward councillor in Ward 5.
Well, it's very challenging, especially as we are not in government. Unfortunately, residents think we control the budget, that we make decisions with regard to service delivery, but that is all done by the ruling party. And you will see in Ward 5, which is a 90% payment rate, we get very, very little services. It's really quite pathetic. If you look where we're standing now, we have potholes that are, small cars can't go through them. We have sewer flowing through the ward. Street lights don't work, water leaks all over, and despite the fact that we should be able to report it, it should be repaired. A day or two later, we are speaking about service delivery that's a year, 2 years down the line, and they are doing nothing. In council, I keep saying, look, you have to give something back to people they pay. It can't always just be one-sided that you give to the poorest of the poor, who also need services. We're not denying them. But those people that pay, give us something back. And as residents, we've also said, give us 10% of what we pay. Give us 10% back. The rest of the 90% you can redistribute. And if we could somehow get to a point where we get our 10% back, we can revolutionize this world. It's not a lot we're asking, but we do need to, this is Transvaal, a school here. It's one of the busiest roads. It's school children, and it's undrivable. The whole area around the school is undrivable. We've approached Province, we've asked Province if they would consider resealing, and it's definitely not on their budget either. So all we have to do is keep pressurising and hoping that at some stage we will get something back. Because it's election year, I very much doubt that we will see much service delivery in the traditional opposition wards.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You are the opposition,
yes.
Democratic Alliance to be precise.
Yes.
And you are saying because it's elections period, you're most likely not even to get that service.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't understand how it works, I voted for you, for an example.
Yes.
I'm expecting you to give me services.
Yes.
And then you are telling me that we are unable to be given services because we are opposition. How does it work?
Okay, it's quite simple. So the opposition can make, we say we want our roads tarred. Let's just take a simple example. It goes to council and there's a majority decision. So in a democracy, the democratic decision is overrides everything. So we get to council and we just get outvoted. However, I have managed to build up some relationships with some of the officials and some of the ruling party councillors, for instance, and we do get some service delivery, but it definitely isn't close to what we should be getting. And it should actually improve more, because if people that get to a point where they're going to stop paying, and how can you blame them?
Sure. So through government there is a process of an integrated development plan,
yes,
an IDP, which seeks to talk to the needs of different wards,
yes,
right? I just want us to deliberate on an opposition versus where a ruling party is leading a ward. In a case where in your ward, for instance Ward 5, you are DA, but an IDP does cover and accommodate you. Obviously there would be submissions that are made from your ward that in my ward, or the community would say, this is what we want, these are the priorities. How does it happen? In this 4 or 5 years now, what were your priorities with your community? How far is that? Has it unfolded? Have they been supported? What is the state?
nothing has been supported. Our priority is sewer. If really we need to, we can repair potholes, we can repair water leaks. The sewer we can do nothing about. And there is sewer throughout the ward, from top to bottom, left to right. Wherever you go in the ward, there's periodic sewer leaks. That we can do nothing about, and it's a major issue. If you speak about the RDP, from day one we've asked them to repair or upgrade our sewer pumps. Nothing has been done. They don't even clean our sewer manholes. Those should be flushed 6 monthly. With regard to the RDP, so there's 45 wards. Everybody puts in their needs and wants, and then some wards put in a list of 40. It's unreasonable. The RDP is the prioritization of your needs. However, that all goes into one big pot. Therefore, we have no way of identifying what was spent in your ward and what was spent elsewhere. That's another thing that I have been trying to fight for. It's called a ward-based RDP. So the RDP will say, all right, in Ward 5, this is what we're going to do, and here is the budget. That doesn't happen. They put the list there and say, this is what this ward said, this is what this ward said, and they go and do just what they want to. So the RDP is really, it's a dream list, it's not working, and until they change it to ward-based, where the board can say, this is what we want, we can then do oversight on that. We want this road resealed, for instance. We can then do oversight. It hasn't been resealed. But at the moment, the budget goes into a bottomless pot, and we never actually see what is spent specifically on each ward.
Right. Now let's move. So you're not happy, obviously, with how things have unfolded. What then becomes your legal standpoint, or what becomes your constitutional standpoint, democratically speaking, of course, because you're a ward councillor? If the needs of your community are not being met, what do you do?
Okay, we've made petitions and we've made requests to province and to national government. We've reported the sewer to the Human Rights Council. We're pursuing that. We've also put another report in to Human Rights for Waste. And all we can do is continually put pressure on. Please fix this road, please do this, please do that. And sometimes not so much a please, but we demand, and it falls on deaf ears. So we do need a change.
So how do you then convince those that have elected you to be in office, now that you are really frustrated? And certainly you have not been able to deliver much for them. We go into polls. How do you convince them to get you back?
Quite simple. Go to Midvaal, see what the DA does in Midvaal, give us Emfuleni, and then as ward councillors and as the government of Emfuleni, we will be able to bring about changes. We will be able to say, look, let's have a more equitable share of what ward gets what, and we do need to put money back into the wards that do pay.
You did mention that your ward pays about 90% in as far as rates and taxes are concerned. And I want to hear your opinion on what then if the very same thing continues. I'm sure this is not your first term.
It is my first term.
Not in terms of how things have been. I mean, the previous term, you came into office, I'm sure, you saw the frustration of the previous councillor. You seem to be going through the same cycle. Do you think we can have a total overhaul of DA governing in Emfuleni?
I think if the DA governed in Emfuleni, there would definitely be changes. They will not be overnight, because if there is no money, and there is no money in Emfuleni, the collection rate is too low, our overheads are too high, but you can start cutting on the overheads. We always concentrate on expenditure and revenue. Revenue is declining very much, so I think we're on 72 to 64% at some times. If your revenue is not increasing, then you've got to start cutting on your expenditure. You cannot afford the filters, you cannot afford all these prestigious, the Mayor's Bursary Fund. Fantastic, but if that is a want, it's not a need. You need to look after the needs of your citizens before you do anything else. And the DA has proven it's the only political party with a successful record of governing in South Africa.
There is an argument, of course, you are in town. Those who are in township are saying, perhaps, I just want to speak in the absentia, of course. They may say, well, in townships, we are good. We're happy with what the government is doing for us. You are in the suburban area, not just any suburban area, but a well-off suburban. But you should be able to do this thing for yourselves. You said you can, but there is government that should be doing this as well. What has been your conversation with the mayor, for an example, or with the MMC for finance, also for an example, in ensuring that they can allocate what is due to your ward? How far do you fight? I mean, you spoke about having written to human rights, having written to the province, but how far do you really fight, Councillor?
Okay, every single council meeting, when I get up and Ward 4 gets mentioned, the people just shake their heads. Every council meeting I'm saying, Ward 5, we need this. Ward 5 is paying. Give us something back. We're not asking for everything, and we're not asking for all our money to come back to us. We know there must be redistribution, so redistribute. But part of that redistribution should be back to us. So that is the thing. I am fighting continually for Ward 5 in all the council meetings, and we have Section 80 committee meetings as well. Also there, because to be honest, the fight, although the residents see the fight in the media, the fight is in council. We have to make recommendations. I'm always making recommendations. They get voted and they get declined. So we have to do that. We have to get our recommendations through. And we can only do that if we have a majority vote.
Well, Councillor, let's conclude the conversation.
Yes.
In the general sense, what is your general sense now that the African National Congress, they are not happy with how the executive mayor has been doing things at Emfuleni, and they feel that it's time to recall him so that they can have somebody else who can continue and try to bring about change. What's your view of that?
Can I be honest? I think it's a political move. It's a bad move. To change the mayor now want to change it. That's not the way it should work, because they are weakening their own structures. And we say thank you to them for that, because the weaker they are, the more comfortable the opposition can be. And I think it's purely political. I don't agree with the way they're doing things. They should have got rid of the mayor earlier.
Sure. Let's just quickly look into the DA. You've got King Saul announced as your mayoral candidate for the DA. What do you think of King Saul? I mean, obviously he's been around. You've worked with him, I'm sure, within the political party structure. What is your view on him?
I think he would make a good mayor. He's very, very active in both, funnily enough, the suburbs as well as the townships. And you need to marry the two, because you can't ignore one in favour of the other. I have on several occasions when I've had problems, I've approached King Saul, and he has been of assistance at a provincial level, because we mustn't forget that province does have power if they choose to use it. So we've had a few successes with King Saul. The most notable is people that have been paid for 3 years and haven't come to work. Those people, the pressure was on them, they just disappeared. It's things like that. And he does put pressure at provincial level for Emfuleni, specifically Emfuleni.
Sure. Let's conclude it. To your people in Ward 5, what's your message? What's your last word for that?
To the residents of Ward 5, I'm saying you need to understand how government works. You need to participate in the IDP. You need to attend your public meetings and you need to be vocal. You can't just sit there. You must have an opinion. And we all know the problems. We're not interested in the problems. We're interested in solutions. And I've always believed, let's find a solution for our problems. And at this stage, the solution is to change the government and to vote the deal.
Well, there you have it, Councillor Maureen, Ward 5, SW5. This is Emfuleni local municipality. We're checking out the state of roads. As you can see, a bit of a struggle for cars to move around here, but we are hoping as we continue crisscross all the local municipalities, this plight can receive an attention from those who have the powers to fix the roads. And this is what Ward 5 Councillor is saying. We just want the roads to be fixed. We want the lights to be on. We want the sewer to be stopped. And that's all we're asking for. We want the grass to be cut. And she's also saying the power has to be given to the DA if you really want to see the change. And I am Motseki Maboya Foundation, and this is Beyond the Headlines. Election mood is activated officially. Next is your ward.